told you. Okay? Okay. We can. Oh, you are saved by the bell. Saved by the bell. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome, sir. We all welcome the MD, CEO. Okay, quickly, let's round up all this. Let's round up all see. See, what are the learning points? Quickly, just 3 learning points from all this. What are the 3 critical learning points in this communication time? I need hands up, please. 3 learning points. Yes, thank you.
Challenge.
Challenge. Now, what happens to challenge? What happens to challenge? We face the challenge and what? We confront the challenge and resolve that challenge. That's what happens. Every challenge we what? Because if you can what? If you can defeat your challenge and then you commercialize your challenge, that's a lot of money.
The second one is to fill the communication gap between the staff.
The real point is to fill the communication gap within the staff. Every team, you must always close up the gap. And the communication gap is one of the critical things that you must close. One more thing, then we quickly move on to the next item. Yes. One more hand. Yes.
Meeting of the target.
Meeting up the target. A lot of the management have emphasized that. Please, thank you very much. A round of applause for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yinka. Please, can you give him another round of applause? Yinka, thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I announce the arrival of the MD CEO, Kano Electricity Distribution PLC, Kedco, Dr. Jamil Isiaku Gomna. Please, can you give him a round of applause? You are most welcome, sir. Gentlemen, we are moving on. Yinka, thank you very much for that very exciting short burst. We're going to move on now with the next item we have here is the Harems Forum, which we have all been waiting for. Like I said, it's going to be interesting as the MD is also here to supervise the all event. I'll call on all of them to come one after the other. If you have any questions, comments, or clarifications to make, you're free to do that, but you need to be civil in whatever you're doing. We don't want to get anyone, we don't want to embarrass anybody here. We don't want anybody to get insulted here, simply because you want to ask a question. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, we need to be civil in what we're doing. I'm sure all the RMs are here now. Let me call on the first person on my list here is Harem of Kasina Central, Abakar Shiru. Please, can you give him a round of applause? I'm sure when you look at Abakar Shiru, that's where he's sitting. I'll call on also RM Katsina South in the person of Kabiru Galadima. RM Jigawa South, Mr. Babatundi Ayola. RM of Jigawa North, Mr. Sani Garba. Why are you smiling now? RM Kano Central, Abubakar Jimeta. Okay. RM Kano Industrial, Awali Yushau. RM Kano West, Maimuna Usman. RM Kano East, Ahmed Ali Baba. And last but not the least, we have the head MD metering in the person of Mohammed Usman Sahad. Please give him a round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this program is going to be moderated by the acting head of corporate communication, Malan Sani Balasani. He's going to conduct this event. I don't have the name here. So that was an oversight. Katina notes. Please, Aminu, please come and give him a round of applause. Aminu Ibrahim, yeah, thank you very much. Sani Balasani, please come on, have your show.
The MD CEO of Kedco, Dr. Jamil Isaku Gomna, the MD of Verdenzil Consultants, Mr. Tunji Olugbodi, the COO of Kedco, Mr. Rahul Singh, our technical partner in person of Mr. Ravindra Singh, heads of departments, heads of units, CROs, REs, my colleagues, everybody, good afternoon. We're here this afternoon with the regional managers and the head of MD Metering and Customer Services, which by extension is more like a regional manager as well. We like to call them the governors, the drivers of Kedco, because they are the ones who actually are on the field to ensure that the corporate objectives of Kedco are achieved. Initially, when I was informed that I was going to moderate this panel, the first thought, or rather a question that came to my mind was, what are we going to discuss here? I think and I feel that there is nothing more important, more apt to discuss at this particular point in time than revenue generation, customer enumeration, customer intimacy, metering alongside other issues that are very critical to the success of the company. I don't have to introduce my guest today because the MC has already done that, and all of you are familiar with their names. This is a discussion panel, more like. So we're going to be discussing with them on their strategies, challenges, and ways forward to actually ensure that the business is growing as expected. The audience will have their own session to ask any question or any clarification or any comments that you may like to ask from the regional managers and the MD, head MD Metering and Customer Services. I'm actually very thrilled and happy today because last year when we had the marketing conference, everybody here pledged to collect 1.7 billion naira for the company. And steadily and gradually, they actually did it. And last month, I was in an SMT meeting with them when they pledged to the MD CEO that last month they are going to collect the sum of 2 billion for the company. I would like to congratulate all of you here seated for the achievement. And the food soldiers who actually went onto the field to collect these monies. These gentlemen and ladies seated here are very, very important for the success of the company. When I see them and I see the management, I liken them to the aviation industry, whereby people actually think in the aviation industry, the pilot who actually pilots the plane is the most important person. But I tell you, the guys who are the air traffic controllers, who are seated in the airports controlling the traffic, are the most important guys. Without them, the planes are going to be crashing. The planes are going to crash every minute, every second. The pilots are just the enablers to help pilot the plane to where it's headed to. But these guys are our air traffic controllers, our MDCO, and the management. You can see them more like the pilots who lay down the strategies and enable them to actually collect these monies and ensure that everything is working on as planned. My first question for the day, for the panelists, I think is more like to ask them. We have been saying that we're going to collect 1.8, 1.9, 2 billion. But last month, they were able to do it. So I would like to hear from you, what was it you did differently? What strategies did you put in place that actually made you collect that money that you weren't doing a long time ago for the company to actually collect this money or even above that? From the targets you were all given by the MDCO last month, the only person, if I'm not mistaken, here is Memuna, who was actually able to meet up with her target of 47 million naira, if I'm not mistaken. And there are a lot of them here who actually achieved a milestone, achieved a collection that the regions have never been able to achieve in the past months. So I would like to present my first question to Memuna. All of you have your microphones. I would like to ask you, what was it that you did differently? What initiatives, what strategies, what plans did you have that actually enabled you to meet up with that target?
Hello, good afternoon. Like he said, my name is Memuna Usman. I'm the regional manager for Kano West region. We had a target. We had a deal with the MD last month for 47 million naira, and we were able to hit above our target. We got 47.4. One of the only region that met its target. We've had so many strategies in place. Right from the onset of the creation of the region, we've had so many strategies in place. But I would say one thing that actually made the difference, if you looked at our performance, we actually started making this progressive increment in terms of collection for the past 3 months. The strategy is actually putting the right people at the right place. What we actually did was to harness within our region, identify talents, people that are really ready to work, people that are ready to implement our strategy. If you look at the presentation Dr. Umar Hashdu gave, it's not just coming up with the initiative, but implementing those initiatives that is the key. So all the while we've had initiative, it's not as if we don't have initiative. We've had initiative, we've had so many plans, but we just don't have the right people to do it. So what we did was to identify the right people, people that are willing to work, people that are committed, people that have the focus and have believe in Kedco. We just place them at very strategic places, and they were able to do the magic. And I tell you, success has just begun in Kano West. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Memuna, for that succinct and straight to the point answer. I would like to hear from Mala Aminu Ibrahim, Katsina North. What are the challenges, what are the issues, and what are the strategies you put in place to actually attain a milestone in the region?
Well, my name is Amin Ibrahim, Regional Manager, Katsina North. Honestly, whatever business you are trying to implement, if you don't have a teamwork, you are not going to be successful. First of all, I have to commend the technical staff, even the sales reps, the CSP supervisors. After we did the After we did the reshufflement, pick some people like what Hajja Memana has mentioned, when you identify, after we identified 80-20 principles. Because if you look at the business, it's a viable business. Because the way, if you look at what we start doing, identifying those high energy consume customers, you understand? If you build them 20,000, they pay you 20,000. If you build them 50,000, they pay you 50,000. I said, Kai, there's a problem this way. Technical, this is where I failed. Come on and assist us. So that you put this sales rep through. So by identifying this energy, and with this new development of CAPT, something happened, 1 to 7. If you are billing one customer 9,000 naira, and he's servicing almost 7 customers. So if you do the simple analysis, by 7,000 times 3, that's about 21,000 minus 9,000, the accurate billing. That's you are going to, if you have a response of 40,000, that is about 480 million. So honestly, this 3 billion is achievable when we did the enumerations. And secondly, after I said that the commercial customers, they are key, we apply the customers that they can give us 80% of our business, 20% of the customers, by identifying them like corn millers, you understand? Those ones, they have to pay you. Because if you look at the terrain where we found ourselves, they are salary earners. So when we identify that, we identify the 5C of credit. Maybe we will look at it in terms of business perspective. Because our business, if you look at it, is based on, after we pattern, we're building the customers in areas. So what with the strategy that we implemented again, we have to look at the capacity of the customers, his character, and his track record. So at least we go after them. Those who are not paying. So now what we achieve from the response of 14,000 to almost 21,000. So we are aiming to have a response of almost 40,000. If you have that one, even if you build them 3,000 naira, I'm telling you, you are going to arrive at 480 million.
RM Katsina North, thank you very, very much. I'd like to enjoin all of us to actually try and keep to time because we're way behind schedule. I would like to inform the audience that you have a chance to actually ask your questions. So you can pick up a paper and a pen. As they are talking, you can jot some things down if you have any questions to ask. At the end of the session, you can now ask your questions. Coming back to the gentleman on my left and my right, considering the fact that Kano Central Region and Kano Industrial Region are at the heart of the city, and I like to say, aside the MD customer service, you guys are the ones with the huge bills. What strategies are you putting in place to ensure that you reduce the losses, the collection losses that are actually accruing in those regions? Kano Central has an average billing of about 600 to 700 million. Kano Industrial has an average billing of about 300 to 400 million. Am I right? So what are the strategies you're putting in place to ensure that you actually cover up for the losses and ensure that even if we don't collect close to 100%, we see 80% in the near future? So what are those strategies you're putting in place to achieve that? Kano Industrial, Aram, can you go first?
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to go straight to the answer of the question. What we did in Kano Industrial, we identify our high revenue-based customers by the assistance of the technical advisors, technical partners of Kedco. And then we concentrate more on those high revenue customers. Right now, what we're doing in Kano Industrial, we are metering only high revenue customers. Those high revenue customers are the customers that can easily pay their bills, and their number is more than 3,300 we have in Kano Industrial. And then at the same time, we did not neglect the part that other people are there. We still put up much pressure to ensure that we collect that amount from less privileged, as well as we assist even the MD customers, because we are the custodian of the majority of the MD customers in Kano Industrial. So,
sorry, let me interject that. You assist MD customers in terms of collections, but actually the collections of the MD customers are attributed to their own collections, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, what are you now doing, the non-MD customers, what are you doing to ensure that you collect the monies from them?
yes, as I said earlier, that we concentrate more to ensure that we collect the money from the high revenue for customers first, because those people are capable of paying their bills. And then what we did is we just concentrate that now we are metering them, and at the same time, we are doing task force to ensure that even all others, inclusive, we collect all the money, bring it back to Kedco. We even do a night task force on several occasions.
Okay, so basically leveraging on the HRB customers and task force, those are his strategies to ensure that he collect the monies from the non-MD customers. RM Kano Central, back to you.
Good afternoon, all. No need for any introductions, but based on Kano Central is one of the regions that has one of the biggest portfolio in terms of billing. Just like the moderator said, about 700 million. And over the past 1 year now, or 1 year, 2 months, we've actually had a lot of strategies of how to ensure that we collect as much as we can. First, what we did was to concentrate on the postpaid customers, ensuring that we get to them, ensuring that we distribute the bills and collect. But eventually what we found out was most of our losses were coming from energy theft. And identifying that now made us to look at where we've not been looking at. That was our PPM customers. And we did a simple analysis. In Kano Central, we have about 45,000 PPM customers. And out of those 45,000, we realized that only 13,000 were actively vending. And that made us now realize where we are losing a lot of money. And by that, we had to sit down as a region to now strategize on how we would be able to ensure that we monitor these guys and we're able to collect our monies. And by doing that, we had to now create a PPM monitoring team strictly of about a 10-man team with an installer and a linesman that will be going on a daily basis, going around to check most of our PPM customers. And to our surprise, every day we go out, the number of customers that we've caught bypassing is alarming. And for now, in Kano Central, that is where we're focused on. And we're also constantly monitoring most of our high revenue-based customers. Between December last year to November, Kano Central, we've installed 6,550 meters across board. And that, by doing that, it's also helping us reduce our losses. And by monitoring, we're ensuring that we're keeping them in check. Apart from that, we now also withdrew about 15 of our CSP supervisors, put them into groups. Kano Central compromises of former Nasarawa, BU, Sabongari, Kabuga, and Dala axis. So now we put a monitoring team comprising of only supervisors to be going around and monitoring our PPMs. And we gave them a target of 30 calls every day. And by doing that alone, and we started that effectively in September, and already, for the first time, our PPM collection grew to over 100 million, which is over 50% of PPM collections within Kedco in total.
RM Kano Central, let me just come in here.
Yeah.
Basically, we all know that metering is the key.
Yeah.
Metering is very key.
Yes.
And you've said a lot of things about metering, monitoring, metering customers, issues like that.
Yes.
But we know how capitally intensive metering is.
Yes.
They're very, very expensive for us actually to now ensure that we get meters for all of our customers. So, in the meantime, what are you doing to ensure that you collect money from people that are not metered? Because there was a time I was actually looking at your collection figures, and just a little below 20% of your customers are metered, or 25, close to that. So majority of your customers are not metered. And if you look at the collection balance, it's almost at par with the customers that are not metered, which shows you that there are a lot of losses in those areas that are not metered. So keeping the issue of metering aside, what are you doing to ensure that you collect monies from those customers that are not metered pending when we get these meters for them?
Okay, in terms of the postpaid customers, what we try to do on a daily basis in the region is we ensure that every blessed day, due to the, based on the resources that we have, a list about 6 to 7 CSPs every blessed day from beginning of the month to the end of the month go on task force. By doing that, we're ensuring that we're reaching our customers as much as possible. We collect as much as we can, and that has grown our collections. We're yet to be there as a region, as a company, but the bottom line is that what are you doing every blessed day to ensure that you reduce those losses? And that is what we're doing, and we will not relent on that. Metering is key. That is where we have to go as a company, and I will still continue emphasizing on metering, even though it's expensive, but it's still what we have to do. Even if we don't meter now, again, and we just exhaust what we have in our store. Like I told you, averagely we do about 220 and 257 in Kano Central on a monthly basis, million in terms of collection. That is what we do. And those 13,000 customers that meter, that vend, are the ones that give us about 100 million and above. So you can see what 13,000 is giving you. You know, almost 100,000 can give you. So where is our focus? That is where the focus is. And with constant monitoring, what that means is that if I have just 25,000, if I'm able to monitor my PPM customers and 25,000 customers vend accurately without bypassing, and based on the energy that we are receiving and we're giving out to our customers, do you know that if 25,000 will vend an average of 10,000 naira a month, that means those PPM customers alone will give me 250 million. You understand? So for me, I have to put my emphasis on that no matter what. I've used the strategy of going through my postpaid customers for about 10 months, right? And just 3 months into constant effort into my PPM customers, my collections have grown. In the month of October, I've collected the highest, just because I've been monitoring my PPM customers. I've been installing more customers, so I've been able to reduce losses. And that is what we're going to continue. And for December now that you're going, if we look at it strategically, you know, for this month, by second week, we have to start out, in fact, to maintain these collections, we have to start off early. By second week, third week, companies are going, right? People are going to travel. So it's our PPM customers that will give us the money. So that means we have to track them, we have to follow them, because a lot of customers are going to be around, they are going to be at home, they are going to use our energy. So in December, PPM is our key to reach that target.
Metering is key, monitoring is key, task force is key.
Yes.
That's what you've said. Moving on to the RMs of Jigawa State, Jigawa North and Jigawa South. The RM of Jigawa, actually your mics on the tables are working. You don't have to be passing the microphones.
All right.
Yeah, they're working. RM Jigawa North, Malam Sani Garba.
Yeah.
I have seen in the numbers that almost consistently you're the RM with the highest efficiency in terms of collection efficiency
Thank you.
for almost all the time. My question is this: what are the things you do? What is your key to unlocking that door of always collecting almost above 50% of your collection? And please do not mention energy minimization to me.
I will not. All right. Thank you, Sani. Good evening, everybody. Let me be straightforward. Thank you very much, the Jigawa North staff. You know, the key to our success is my people. You know, Jigawa North is a region that is customer-centric, but above all is staff-centric. You know, in Jigawa North, all of us are brothers and colleagues. There is no RM in Jigawa North. Everybody is an RM there. So in a region
RM.
with 160 regional managers, what do you expect? So I don't have to say much. With 160 regional managers in Jigawa North, only one person cannot make a difference. They are all my colleagues. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Audience, silence. RM Jigawa North, your answer was straightforward, but a little bit too political, actually. You said your people are your strategy. Well, fine. It's actually good to be very friendly and homely and hospitable with your staff. It's very, very key. But then you haven't told us the strategy, the key, the master key.
Okay. Let me be specific. It is only in Jigawa North that we meet 15 times every month. Am I right? We meet 15 times every month to
strategize. Do what?
To strategize.
How do you strategize? What are the strategies?
We read our yesterday's collection and we strategize on how much are we going to collect today. We put our hands together, we promise each other, and in the morning, in the evening, we come and review. And we are almost 100% perfect all the time. That's the secret of our success.
Well,
so in effect, Sani, I mean communication is key. Everybody in Jigawa North knows the situation of Kedco and knows that the investors are bleeding to keep us alive. And I've told them, as always, that if we allow these investors to get angry and give us into the hands of Mayu, you know what Maya is. If you give Maya your God to take care of, you and the gods are all in danger. Because if that God do not get fat, you will be the victim.
Sani, RM Zagano, thank you very much. This is not a campaign. This is not a campaign. He hasn't said much. He was just campaigning. Okay, moving on to Head MD Metering and Customer Services. I'd like to pose one question, straightforward question to you. What are you putting in place since you took over the unit to actually ensure that you grow the collections of the MD Customer Service? Because ever since I joined Kedco personally, I know that collections of the MD customer service has been hovering around 1.2, 1.3, 1.1 billion. So what are the strategies that you're putting in place to ensure that you actually, widen it?
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, good evening, colleagues. Let me just rephrase it. Basically, when I took over, there are a lot of things that are not in place. One, the MD customers rely solely on other sections to function. Sorry, okay. The MD section relies solely on the section to function. That's the most amazing part of the job. Because MD contributes 80% of the total collection of this business. So I think we deserve to have virtually everything at our own disposal. I thank the MD, the members of the management for adhering to our own cries to give us our technical team. That's the first aspect. That's what made us strive to what we achieved this month. We presently, the major things I wanted to put in place is first, to get close to my customers. One, to ensure that we deliver good and quality services to all our sundry. From, our customer number one to the 1,600 customers that we're having presently, increase our customer database from 1,600, because we know that we have a lot of MD customers that are lying there. Some are even metered on PPMs. Some are not even metered because they are all scattered all over. We want you people to assist us and bring those people over so that we can meter them correctly. We can, we can assist, or rather you can assist us so that we can collect this money for the company. That's the second aspect. Third and most important aspect in this business is to make sure that we have quality billing. Because when I took over, the billing wasn't as perfect as the way it is now. Because the customers complain to us, we solve the bills, we solve their problems at when due. That the MD customer's problem doesn't take more than 48 hours.
Head MD Mitrin, you're talking about inaccuracy of billing.
Yes.
I actually was thinking that your staff are the ones who go to read these meters, the customers' meters, and actually give inputs to the billing unit for them to bill the customers. Then where's the problem?
Yeah, let me cite an example for you, or to all of us. For instance, a customer pays through a particular platform. Sometimes it takes up to 15th of the month before he gets his bill because the payment doesn't reflect on the billing. So it really takes out much of our time in terms of quality service delivery. Secondly, in terms of giving our customers the best. So what we did now is to ensure that between 1st and 5th of the month, all corrections are being effected. So we ensure that our customers get the bills as at when due, and we kind of like have a symbiotic relationship with our customers. It's a two-way traffic. We have information from them, they get information from us. So we work as one family with our customers. Our customers are not as customers, we don't take them as customers. We take them as business partners. So that's what, improves the collection.
Relationship, customer response, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Moving on to customer enumeration, which I feel is very indispensable, very, very key, very, very important, is one thing that if we do not get right, if we do not do it the way it's supposed to be done, we're not going anywhere. When we joined Kedco in 2014, our customer base was around 360,000 customers. And here we are 4 years down the line. We're still talking about 500,000 customers. And we know very, very, very well that Kano Disco is the largest disco in terms of customer population. We have over 2 million customers. Where are these customers? Where are they? From 2014 till date, the only customer number we added to our database was 140,000. And even this 140,000 I'm talking about, the response, customer response, which is the key, which is even more important than actually adding the customers, is not there. The customer response is still hovering around 30 to 40%, if I'm right. So, what have you guys been doing? And what are you planning to do to ensure that you get these customers in our databases? RM Jigal South?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will stand on the existing protocols. Like you said, customer enumeration is very key to achieving the goals of the company. For us, I'll just speak specifically for Jigawa South. What has happened for us is we have segmented our market. We have made it known in one of our strategy meetings with the whole of the team, because we do that every month so that we're all on the same page to achieving the target that we have set out for ourselves. So what we've done is we have given a target to every of the sales reps. And at the very month that we agreed and we strategized to agree on, okay, if there are 60 sales reps, which is about the lowest across all the regions, the question I agreed with my team members was, if every one of you is able to see 300 customers, and each of those 300 customers are able to pay 2,000 naira each, you can imagine what every of those sales reps will get. And that was the very first month we achieved the milestone, well over 30 million. I'm sure my team members remember. And ever since we started that is pinpointing the fact that customers and enumerating those customers and identifying them is very key to achieving our target. So ever since we started that, we have been on a trajectory to ensure that we meet our target. I'll tell you how we have arrived at this. Okay. I'll tell you how we have arrived at.
Can you tell the house how you're leveraging on the CAFT project, CAFT?
Yes. The CAFT project, what we have done is we have identified 60% of the revenue comes from the CSPs within the metro. And that is where we have laid our emphasis, especially for the CAFT project. I'm talking about CSPs like Masara, I'm talking about Takur, I'm talking about Hakimi Street, I'm talking about Duse, I'm talking about Garu. These are the CSPs that we have identified. 60% of the revenue comes from these areas. So in segmenting the customers in these areas, especially with the assistance of the team, we have identified the HRB customers, and having identified those HRB customers, what we do now is the whole of the team comes to the metropolis to ensure that we reach each and every customer across those CSPs. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Jigawa South region, the team, we achieve a consistency from the very first day to the very last day of the month. There is no day we do not achieve 1 million naira. So we do not have instances, because we have identified that it is a salary-based state. So if we wait for salaries, that means we only do our collections in the last 3 days of the month. And that is not very consistent. So if you look at our contribution, we have a consistency of 1 million naira consistently over all the collection days, because we have identified the customers that pay the very first week of the month. We have identified the ones that can pay the second week. We have identified the customers that will pay on the third week, and the ones that will pay only after salaries. So the customers enumerated, segmented, are the key to achieving our goals. Thank you.
You've mentioned customer identification and segmentation.
Yeah.
I don't think that answers my question, actually, because I was talking particularly about the CAFT, Project CAFT, for the benefit of The house, for us, some of us that don't actually know what the project CAFTI means. CAFTI is an acronym that stands for Customer Asset Validation, Tagging, and Indexing. It's more like a format given by the NERC. It's a project undertaken by the Strategy Department and ICT and a lot of people to actually ensure that we index our customers to our distribution assets. So we validate the customers we have readily available in our database and give room for actually enumerating those that were not in our database. So my question is, what is your percentage or level of compliance in terms of the first stage of the project CAFTI, which is pool numbering? Right? What is your percentage in terms of that?
Across the region, right?
Yes.
Okay. The project team is here. They can testify to what we have achieved in terms of the project CAFTI. Basically, what we have, and that is verifiable anyway. Initially, when we started, we were lagging behind. But as at the last time the review was done, I can, with every sense of humility, say across the region, we have done well over 85% in terms of asset tagging and done correctly by the whole of the teams across the CSPs. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me come back to my right-hand side. RM Kano East Region, Malang Alibaba. We're talking about customer enumeration, which is very key to the success of our business. Yesterday, the MD kicked a ball of 3 billion naira, a target of 3 billion. Your customer base, how do you intend, rather the question is, how do you intend to actually achieve your target with the same customer base, the same response rate? How do you intend to achieve that target with that?
Good afternoon. I stand to the existing protocol. Basically, as a leader, basically you need to recognize, certain things that will move the business forward. Actually, what we have done so far in Kano East, we started running before we were asked to run. So the CAPTI, program that came in, we have identified, customers. Basically we have, like the other speakers must have said, we have consumers and we have customers. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to convert consumers to the customers level. So that is what we have started doing ever since before the CAPTI, program came in. So as the program came in, we were able to do, 100% poll numbering, which the team will, certify to that. We have done that. Later on, the team came off to do their verification. When they did their verification for the first time, they now checked and found out that there are some certain areas where, my technical people must have removed one pole or two pole, or some reticulation of the LT poles were embarked upon by the technical unit, which affected, the numbering, which the team, asked us and saddled us to continue and then do the corrections, which we have done that. I'm happy to inform the gathering here. The team came last week, to be precise, Hadeja Road. That is where we started the pilot of the CAPTIP, program. So to say, so far, so good. We have, started, and I believe, this CAPTIP will help us in trying to achieve the 3 billion target that was set by the management and the board. And I want to, use this medium as well to make it clear, that as a leader, I'm very optimistic with the leadership of Kedco. That is why I'm here as a family. I also want to inform the, people here gathering that my people in Kano East, we are more than a family, because we stand to gain what the management and board have saddled us to, to achieve. Basically, the number of hours we spent in Kano is from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We don't even spend it with our immediate so-called families at home. So basically, that is what we have been doing, and we have been imbibing on that. And I assure you that with the trend of event, converting consumers to customers, we are going to get to the promised land.
RM Kano is. Anyway, I'll come back to you later. I'll come back to you on that. Hold on. Sorry, before the start of this panel discussion, I forgot to actually inform the House that we have a team of umpires who are seated facing us. In the first person is our MD CEO, Dr. Jamil Isaku Gomna. Mr. Rahul Singh is another umpire. Mr. Ravindra Joshi is another umpire. So, please, Kandi, if you can help me pass the mic to that table, if they need any clarification. If they need any clarification as to what any of the RM said, they can actually probe further. That is the essence of that. So you can just hold the mic there. You can just hold the mic right there. If you want to probe further on any of the responses. Thank you, sir. RM Kasina South, coming back to you. I'm aware that the board of directors of Kedco has given the regional managers a mandate of customer base of about 750,000 before the end of 2017. This is December 3rd, 2017, and we're still short of that number. What have you been doing, or rather, what are you going to do from now till 29th of December to ensure that the customer base is actually grown to 750,000, at least in your own region? And not just growing the customer number, growing the response rate of the customers. Because actually the database is full of junks, customers that don't actually pay, don't respond at all. So what are you doing to actually grow the customer number and customer response in your region?
Good afternoon all. I'm Kabir Galadima, the regional manager in our south. Actually, we have been doing a lot in respect to this issue with my team members, but we are trying to be very extra careful. The reason why I say extra careful, because there's inherited bills. So we don't want to make duplications. So what we have so far done, we have set a committee in my region. What we did, we look at the active customers out of the bills that we have. Then we have bills that we know they can be delivered, but we are unable to trace where these customers are. And the last thing, we have the other groups that we know they cannot be delivered. So that's why we are trying to be very careful, as I said initially, in respect to this capturing of these customers. Well, all along, we gave more priority on the metering aspect of that. So, by the grace of God, we have done a lot, because as I tell you, when I took over the region, between the month of August to date, we have almost captured nothing less than 5,000 customers.
From these 5,000 customers you've actually captured, what is the response rate in percentage terms?
So actually, if you can check the record, when we took over, by the collection for that particular amount was 25 million, but we're able to get to that 50 million of the target given by the FDCO last month. The reason why I said we have achieved that target of 50 million, the main collection is about 49 point something, but we have about 2 million, which is not yet get to us because of the network problem from the bank on the last day of the collection.
Talking about revenue generation and customer enumeration, I pose this question to all of us here. Just in one sentence, tell the House how you can actually achieve the target of 3 billion naira in the near future. Say in the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. 6 months. In the next 6 months, we're actually looking at a target of 3 billion naira. Am I right? Yes. 6 months.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
In 1 or 2 sentences.
Sorry, I have issue with my voice. I think basically the most important thing is that what we need to do is that everybody has to be on the same page. Because I think the most important thing for us to take ownership of this business. Because if we don't take the ownership of this business, I think this is where the problem is. When we take the ownership of the business, that means we are stakeholders. And when you are a stakeholder in any business, you see to the success of that business. That is very, very important. I think it's very basic. And that is what is happening in my own region. I think I try to carry people along and talk to them. Because our survival as individuals depend on the survival of the business. It's basic. Because if the business fails, then we are nowhere. So now I think everybody has to be on this level. When we do that with the enumeration that is going on, honestly, in the next 6 months, 3 billion is just going to be a joke. We are going to be over 4 million by the end of the year, by the grace of God. That is my own belief. And honestly, sky is our limit.
RM Jigar South, what are you going to do differently in 1 sentence to ensure you achieve this target in the next 6 months?
Seriously, what we have done the last 3 months that has given us the kind of increment we have had in the last 3 months is because everybody in the region is now a sales rep. That is the truth. The cable jointers are collectors now. The electrical fitters, they are all. So we go out as a team. Everybody, once we are all gathered, everybody knows there's a target that we must achieve. And so far, it has worked for us. And what we're going to do is to consolidate on this. And I know my team is highly committed to ensure that we reach a minimum target of 70% efficiency. I believe that is the commitment we are going to reach. And we will contribute our own best to ensure that the 3 billion is achieved across the company.
RM Jigar North, in 1 sentence.
In 1 sentence, I'm sorry, MD. I will disconnect more errant customers. Thank you.
Yeah. What you're going to do differently to ensure you...
Actually, on MD, it's first is to have accurate billing, timely bill distribution, and we need to have more customers on our database. We have to improve on, converting customers from non-MD to MD. That's the most important aspect. And sir, MD sir, I pledged to contribute 1.8 billion between now and June.
Okay. For Kano Central, and like I've said earlier, our own potential to contribute effectively and efficiently to this target is there, and my team are here to testify to that on what we've been doing. We've always challenged status quo. So the strategy is strictly for me what I'm going to do to ensure that I do that. That is the easiest way, that probably within 2-3 months I can jump my collection to over 400 million is through my PPM monitoring and PPM installation. I'm going to concentrate 100% on that because I know the potential is there and I'm already on track on getting there. So be on the watch out. Presently, Kano Central is contributing over about 13-14% of total Kedco collections. And we're not there yet. We're not there yet. There's still the opportunity to contribute a lot more than that. And from 257, we're going to get to at least 400, 450 within the next quarter.
RM Kano Central, sir, I would like to probe further.
Yeah.
You like mentioning the issue of metering.
Yes.
Can you please tell the House what is the rate of metering in your region? The rate at which you install meters?
The rate at which, like I said, between December and November, I've installed 6,550 meters, with an average of, that's an average of about 600 meters in a month. Now, and again, what have we done? Now, we had, at the beginning, we are only given about 15 installers. But looking at our customers and looking at the gap, what we did also, or what we initiated in my region, was to also now train our linesmen to be able to install meters. And we trained about 25 of our installers to be able to install meters. Engineer Ghana was the one that initiated through the CCRO, and we organized the training for them. And what we've done now, we've created teams on a daily basis where they go and they meter. So for me, that is what we're strictly going to focus on. Not that we're going to neglect our postpaid meters, but for me, that is where my money is. That is where I'm going to chase. That is where most of the default is. And within the past 2 months, I have generated over 15 million from penalties from just meter bypasses.
And let me just add a brief comment on this. Kano Central is a region that actually likes talking about metering. You know, there was a time we found out that some of your sales reps actually who have a lot of meters in their own areas tend not to monitor the meters because they actually feel that they are only going to go after customers who are not metered. So some customers found out, and some were even writing PPM.
Yes.
So some sales reps will just be passing by. Once they see PPM on the house, they just pass it by and go. They actually don't have that sense of, you know, belonging, that these guys, because they have meters, I don't even need to check the house, you know. What are you doing? What are the things you're putting in place to ensure you monitor these guys that you're monitoring, and you monitor these sales reps that are actually, you know, serving these customers?
Okay. Now, you know, every day as we strategize, customers, some of the erring customers are also trying to be smart, or they are also getting smarter. And what you're saying, what some of the customers were doing was because initially, but now that was in the past, right? So let me put a point of correction to that. That was in the past. Initially what was happening is that some customers, by the time they knew that most of the staff were concentrating mostly on postpaid customers, what they were doing is that they would just go to their gates and get paint and mark PPM because they know staff don't check. Feeling that they're just PPM customers, they will just pass and they will. But that thought and that idea has changed. You know, now each CSP will be able to tell you, this is the number of PPM customers I have. We've grown the database in terms of PPM per CSP. Each sales rep knows the number of customers that he has that are metered, and they now know they have to monitor. And apart from that, just like I said earlier, I have about 7 teams now that strictly what they do is monitor PPM. And to get that effectiveness, that was why I said I withdrew 15 CSP supervisors, put acting supervisors in the CSP to ensure that that aspect of postpaid have not been neglected, and at the same time also concentrating on my prepaid customers to ensure that I get that.
Thank you very much. Due to time, and we have a lot of questions to actually answer from the audience, I would just like to ask you this question. You know, our corporate objectives are in such a way that they go hand in hand. We talk about customer intimacy, revenue generation, improved working environment, operating efficiency, and all that. Now, touching a little bit on operating efficiency, how hands-on are you in terms of ensuring the feeder downtimes are actually reduced to the barest minimum?
We really do much in terms of ensuring that our feeders are maintained and within time. And then last month, we even have a sub-TSP at Dorai. And sub-TSP Dorai is basically going to concentrate more on PDES at Chalawa. And at the same time, we have a rapid response team that operate 24 hours, 7 days. That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Please, people should stop going out. It's actually disrespectful when our leaders are sitting right here and you people are loitering around. There is going to be a break time. So please, everyone should remain seated and silent. Thank you. I am Kano East. Now our customers are being increasingly aware of their rights and obligations. And as such, customer complaints are on the rise. What are you doing to ensure that we don't have too much engagement with the NAC forum offices in terms of ensuring we resolve customer complaints timely and accurately? What are you doing in that regard?
Okay. Basically, what we have designed in Kano is that, in conjunction with, compliance unit, I asked them to come over and do a presentation, to all the customer care unit that I have within my franchise area, which they have done that, and they even went further to, give us a kind of, flyers, which will be a guide, to all this customer care, unit, which will help them in trying to understand the business. Until when you understand the business and understand the rules and regulation, that is when if a customer comes into you with his own complaint, you will be able to know how to answer him and how to attend to their, numerous complaint. So having said this, we have engaged, all the CSP supervisors on training and retraining for them not to allow customers to come to the region for their, minor or until when a situation is critical, that is when major complaints are routed, to the region. So as I speak with you, hardly you see any complaint from Kano East region that is being taken to NAC. The only complaint so far all over, the year, the financial year, we only had to go to NAC twice. And I was the one that initiated that because I had to, ab initio when we came in, with the help of the CTO, we inherited a transformer 500 kVA, to be precise, in Wurabaga area. This Wurabaga, they are densely populated area, and I have only one transformer, and on the transformer I had only 2 units. On the, on the,
thank you, I
so
am Kano
basically,
East.
let me
Thank you.
finish up. You asked a question, so let me just, finish up. So as I said, we always want to be ahead of customers. We are optimistic, and my people are always there 247 to ensure issues of complaint are critically mitigated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Due to lack of time, I would like to just be flipping through some of the questions so that we can round up. RM Kano Industrial, you just made mention of feeder downtimes at the barest minimum. We have a question from Engineer Adeza here. He said, and I read, customer satisfaction is a panacea of improved revenue collection. We have identified that the cash collection drive is neglecting this mission. This is so because LT network faults remain unattended to, sometimes lasting for weeks. How can they change this trend? And what is the minimum downtime they can pledge on LT fault resolution? This actually countered your, can I use the word claim? That the system downtime or feeder downtimes are the barest minimum. So what can you say to this question?
Actually, what Engineer Adeza said, I think he's not referring to Kano Industrial. Because in Kano Industrial, we make sure that we keep our downtime to the maximum of 4 hours. And Engineer Omole can testify that.
I think, do we refer these questions to individuals? Umpire, sir? Okay, let's refer the quick. Okay, Adeza is actually saying it's all of them. So, these questions, as I'm reading them, I want them to be referred to individuals because he's now claiming that it's not in Kano Industrial.
Yeah, it's not Kano.
Okay, sir. Sir? 1 minute. Okay, all of you should respond to this in 1 minute.
So we in Kano East, we ensure downtime is attended to, because without, attending to customers' issues, we cannot even satisfy them, and we cannot even get the monies. So basically what we do, we ensure that we have...
Please
a
just
time
go
limit.
to the time. We're not here to speak politics.
Yes, sir.
Just go straight. We're asking what is the downtime. Tell us what is your downtime
Minimum.
and how can you improve that. That's all.
Minimum, of 3 hours, that is the minimum in Kano East, and maximum of 6 hours. That is the normal, timing that we have in Kano East, sir.
How many feeders are down in your areas today?
To be honest with you, sir, I have Gezawa, which is the most, lengthy feeder. That is feeder 1.
Is it the only feeder that is down today?
Yes, it's the only feeder that is down.
When was it down, and when do you expect
In
it to be
between 12 o'clock, 1200 hours to 1 o'clock, and it has been rectified.
Okay. Next.
Sorry, did you just say LT or HT?
LT, LT.
No, okay. I have 3 feeders down. Like our feeder are very lengthy, and they have isolator at the...
Just
first
tell us
point.
what is your downtime, and then that's the number of hours, and
Less than
when
an hour,
can
sir.
Are you sure?
Very, very sure, because I have isolator at probably even before the first transformer. So once the isolator
So how
is
long
open,
does
you
it
can't
take
say
you to restore a feeder?
completely
Yes.
to the tail end.
Yes.
The longest feeder I have is like 500. My feeders are between 300 to
How
500
long?
kilometers.
I'm talking about hours. How long does it take?
10 hours
you
to the tail
restore?
end. 10 hours
10 hours.
to the tail end of the feeder.
That's not acceptable.
We
That
have
is-
it.
that is- no, listen, we are not shouting. What we are saying is, how can you improve on that? That's what we're saying.
We need more men, and we need more operational.
No,
vehicles.
don't
I tell you,
tell
my
me,
feeder,
don't
my
tell me
feeder
you
are
need
very
more men.
lengthy.
All I'm saying is that, how do we improve on that? That's all. Just tell us how you can do that.
Honestly, the only way we can improve on this feeder is having operational vehicle and more men on ground.
With what
I
you
have,
have,
I have a feeder that started from Garu and went all the way to Gwarzo. That feeder is about 400 and something kilometer. Yes,
you have not answered my question. Anyway, the next one.
less than 10 hours.
Actually, at our on-site, at 11 kb, we have less than an hour. An hour. That's the maximum feeder that we have.
Engineer
And the
Adiza,
next-
are you confirming this?
Yes, because in this house, let him check the record.
We are talking about LT lines now.
LT lines, yes.
LT lines, not the feeders. The LT lines, LT networks.
This is what I'm saying. Even the LT line is not up to an hour. We clear our fault. We have competent and hardworking staff with me there.
Can you confirm this?
Yes, let him confirm. Because in the south.
That's in the south.
Yes, confirm that.
Okay.
Good afternoon, RMs. I'm talking about LT Fort. That is the one that affect the customers directly. Now, when we have LT Fort on our network, you find some areas with light and others without supply, and agitation comes in. If you go for cash collection, you will receive a lot of resistance. That's what we are saying. I'm not talking about feeder fault. We are taking care of your feeder fault. We're talking about LT fault. So don't mix it up.
Actually, Mr. Daisy, let me tell you this. Even at the peak time of the cash collection, while we expect everybody to be out, we have to leave some linesmen behind for this clearing of this LT fault. You can go and check our record there and see.
So how long does it take you to do that?
1 hour, sir.
Okay, noted.
Well, for our own issue, we have to be mindful. That's why all hands has to be on deck. Because
Please just go to the question.
it's just an hour.
Please.
It's just an hour, LT.
Okay, RM Kano Central. LT downtime. Sir? Those mics are working, the ones on the table. Just 1 minute, 1 minute. We don't have time.
For our LT lines, we're averaging about 3-4 hours.
For Casino Central, our average is about 2.5 hours.
For Jigawa South, it's about 2 hours maximum.
Jigawa North, less than 1 hour.
Okay, I think we don't want us to miss the point, really. We are talking of how to wave power supply to customers. And we are asking for strategy to improve upon what you are doing now. Strategy to improve upon what you are doing now. Okay. In the past, you focus more on cash drive. And I don't want you to lose focus that the commodity that we sell is electricity. If it's not available, there's no business. Where there's no supply, no business. And honestly, for us to really achieve our goal, because of the manpower issue and because of other things that are not adequate, we just have to prioritize. Even the feeders should be prioritized. And if you don't take care of the upstream, 33 kV feeders, 11 kV feeders, you can never even have the LT you are talking about. So the first priority, 33 kV feeders, before we talk of 11 kV feeders, and then the LT. So the other one I want us to also focus on is the maintenance culture. Preventive maintenance. That's the key. It's not good that feeders should be tripping every because some of the feeders are not healthy. We are not really taking care of them. There are some things that we can do on the feeder that will stabilize the feeder, but we have not done that. So I think the strategy now should be to go back and look at all the feeders, prioritize them, look at the ones that are really giving money, start with that, ensure that you carry out preventive maintenance on them one by one. That's why you can say you are talking business. This is what you are talking is political. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's all political. The real strategy is to go back and see how to stabilize the feeders first, 33 kV feeders first, then 11 kV feeders, and then the LT. And that's how to do with maintenance program. There must be maintenance program on all these feeders. And that's how we can have stability of supply.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think, do they need to respond to this or we move forward? Okay,
Let's move forward.
We're moving forward. Someone is saying, my question goes directly to RM of Kano West Region, Hajia Memuna. Please, while celebrating meeting your target, I would like you to explain how much energy did you receive in your region? He wants to know what is your billing amount and what is your percentage in terms of collection. Just in one sentence, he wants to know your billing and your collection efficiency. You use the mic on the table.
The billing is 200, collection efficiency is 25%.
Okay. So she has answered your question. Head MD Mitrin, this question goes to you. This person said, we realized that we have a lot of energy losses on both 33 and 11 kV feeders. What can we do to expose the technical bypass on the MD meters in industries and companies? Meter bypasses in MD side, what are you doing to mitigate that?
Actually, yes, you're right. We have a lot of leakages in terms of energy theft in MD. So what we're doing now, actually in conjunction with most of the RM, most especially RM Industrial, Nasiru, and who is in charge of enforcement in Jinagana, because actually some of these meters, a layman won't even identify a bypass on most of these meters, because sometimes most of But the bypass that we got recently,
Sir, the question is, what are the strategies you're putting in place to detect and mitigate these bypasses? Just go straight to the point.
no, but I have to explain before I should tell you. Okay, the strategy that we're putting in place is a periodic visit to most of these customers. Just periodic, maybe twice, 3 times in a month to check, just like certification. Meter certification twice on a monthly basis. And actually, by January, the most important aspect that we intend doing to mitigate that is to start monitoring at night. Because most of this energy theft happens in the night. So we're putting things in place to see how we can have a team that can monitor most of these customers from 12 midnight to the hour of
When is this starting, sir?
January.
Okay. The next question goes to RM Kano Central. He says, with the redeployment of 15 number CSP supervisors to PPM monitoring, how will their performance be measured based on their employed KPIs? One, don't you think that creating the PPM monitoring cost the neglect of the PPM customers by the sales reps? So the sales reps actually now feel that, okay, since you have PPM monitoring teams, so it's not their responsibility to actually monitor the guys with the PPMs. Don't you think it will cause that problem?
No, it will not at all. The bottom line is it's a task force. It does not change. It's well communicated. They still have their territories, the sales reps. They still cover their territories. They know what they are supposed to do. They know the number of calls they are supposed to make. So it doesn't deter anybody from doing his or their job as they are supposed to do. This is a task force, and they have specific tasks to go into different territories to ensure that these PPMs are monitored.
Okay.
We are supporting them. The supervisors
the
are
guys you redeployed back to PPM monitoring, won't this affect their KPIs, their original KPIs?
No, it wouldn't.
I hope he has answered that question. Somebody called Inua is saying, I want to know the failure of Kano West facing for the last 9 months in order for us to avoid and the method follow in 3 months success. Honestly, your question is not clear. I can't even read it. Inua.
Who asked the question? Can you ask?
Inua, he just wrote Inua. He said, I want to know the failure of Kano West facing for the last 9 months in order for us to avoid full stop and the method follow in 3 months to success. It doesn't make sense.
Just go to the next one.
Kano West RM, I want to know the billing versus collection for the month. Sorry, she has answered this question. Mohammed Usman Abubakar, Katsina North Region, is asking, is there any other strategies apart from metering and HRB customers that will effectively enhance our collections, particularly in Katsina North Region? Are there any other strategies apart from metering the HRB customers? Katsina North. Mike's in Basa Aiki, they are not working?
Well, there is a lot of strategy. One, if you look at we are going to all buy in on the new CAPT project, which was sampled on Thursday. You can look at it at Upper Malusa alone. At one shop, we discover, one bill, we discover 7 customers. So if you take this CAPT issue religiously, you can see, and the issue, another one that we are going to look at it, all the issue of that looping, they are going to come on board. So you can see yourself, once your collection efficiency or your response is increasing. So from CAPT project, I'm telling you, you see us cruising. I'm telling you, when we take it, and I'm going to motivate you on that, once if you deliver, seriously.
Okay, the next person is saying the issue of metering the customer is a way where we can boost our collections, but Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you're referring to me, said it costs the company more, but some customers have to be metered because of their consumption, and these customers are not even paying their bills regularly. One, I would like to tell you that there are meters presently in the stores. Your RMs have some meters. If you identify any customer that needs to be metered, you need to actually notify your RM or your CRO to actually make sure you meter that customer immediately. And secondly, you said the customers are not even paying their bills regularly. Whose job is it to collect that money? It's actually your own responsibility, you who wrote this question, to actually ensure you make that customer pay. Thank you. The second question said the management should provide ladders to every CSP because in our region, without ladder, customer will not pay. My question here is that what is the stance of management for that? He's still talking about disconnection, TSPs, ladders, disconnections, stuff like that. RMs? He is saying that his customers in his own CSP don't pay until they see ladders. Then what is the management saying about this? Katsina North Region. Yeah, the person asking the question is from Katsina North Region.
Well, actually, we have seen the impact on the using of the ladder. I have to appreciate when the CTO and his acting capacity as CEO, which he gave us additional ladders, which already made an additional proposal. Because honestly, they respect the ladder. But even though we are going to change the pattern as time goes on relationship management. So, but this one, we are passing the message, changing the culture. But for us to get there, it's much more ladder. So, sir, you see my memo again, CTO. Thank you.
Somebody is saying we are here celebrating, also promising to collect 3 billion naira. While the massive metering exercise is ongoing, can you see, can't you, you wanted to say, can't you see, but you said, can you see is a threat to the collection of postpaid customers. You're trying to see, can't you see? So what he's saying is, you guys are actually metering customers. Isn't it a threat? Collecting monies from customers that are not metered?
It can't be a threat. I don't know from the point of view that the person asking the question saying is a threat. The bottom line is that the only way you can be able to account for your energy is through metering. Eventually, it's a NAC regulation. Every customer eventually is supposed to be metered. So as long as we'll continue to go, we'll have to constantly continue to meter till the day we meter each and every single customer. And that is what we just have to do. So it's no threat. I don't know why you think it's a threat. Because I think it even makes your job a lot easier, because as we go into your CSPs and into your territories, if you have maybe like, let's say 300 customers that you're distributing bills to, and eventually we meter 200 customers, you would have, you would do more of monitoring, but you only have 100 bills to distribute. And then that will be able to make you concentrate on those 100 customers to ensure that you collect more of your money. And you're likely to increase your collection efficiency that way. So you need to look at it from that aspect. Okay? So it's not a threat. That's progress. Point of correction.
Thank you, sir. The head of customer relations, Mr. Makbul, is asking, what are the actions taken about non-responding these customers? What are the actions taken about non-responding customers? I'm sure that's what you wanted to say. About 270,000 non-responding customers. What are you guys doing to actually ensure that you make these customers respond? And how many years will it take you to verify these 270,000 customers? And who will carry the losses of printing excess bills? You return bills every month in, month out, saying these customers are untraceable, these customers are not responding. It's actually losses to the company. So what are you doing about all these things?
Okay, I think enumeration is the answer to this problem, because when we enumerate our customers, we are going to convert consumers to customers and get more new customers on board, because
RM, he said you have 270,000 already, non-responding. You are talking about increasing more customers. What are you doing to make those 270,000 respond?
enumeration is the answer to this problem.
If you say customer enumeration, you're actually bringing on board new customers, right? The ones you already have in your database that are not responding, what are you doing to make them respond?
Hello? Hello? Yeah?
They are not responding because they are not traceable.
Can I respond? Actually, what we are trying to do, we are trying to be scientific. Each and every month, we have to ensure that we get input from the billing side. The input is this: we have to get the OBCD and OBCS. It's through them that you can be able at least to identify who and who paid last month and who did not pay. Through them, you can be able to embark on serious disconnection.
Hello. Like we in Kano
Please, we don't have too much time. Just straight to the point. 1 minute.
We in Kano is what we have started doing. We have identified about 13,000 customers that are not responding. And we have started sipping out those customers on, feeder to feeder, CSP to CSP basis. But we have already sipped out the numbers, the population, that is 13,000. We have segmented those 13,000. We have now spread them all over to the CSPs. As it is today, we are starting our, disconnection and identifying, revalidating the customers at the same time to ensure we do the needful so that monies will start coming in. We are going to start converting those customers, rightly mentioned by Mr. Makbul. In my own region, I have about 13,000. What I'm going to do, before the captives start in earnest, we have sipped out those customers and we are going to get them back. Those that we know that we cannot trace them, we know we'll do it more scientifically. We have to be more extra careful in order to, get it done to the right time. Thank you.
Please, 30 seconds.
Okay, ours is a bit crazy. CEO Sadiq, I'm not trying to send neck after you, but what we are trying to do is to actually convert consumers to customers, because we've realized from report from billing, even the new capture we are sending in, they are equally not responding. So by the strategy we've adopted, even though I know it's not really in line with the regulation, what we do is that when we disconnect a transformer, sorry to say, we try to sensitize these people, let them know that the more customer you have, the lesser your billing. Like he says, the community, what they do now, like what the RM Kasina not said, what they do now is that they identify those customers that are looping, bring them in and ensure that they pay their money, thereby converting consumers to customer. That is what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, but probably some of RM, you did not understand our question. Sani, can you want to say something? Just 30 seconds, please. Use that mic. Use the mic there.
Yeah, hello. Once again, I want to say something 30 minutes on return bills.
30 minutes?
30 seconds on return bills. Do we agree that those bills are returned? If you agree that the bills cannot be traced, sign at the back with your name. Let me see how you tell me that the bills are not traceable.
So are you telling me that all bills are traceable?
All bills, only few are not traceable. If you believe it's not traceable, sign your name at the back and tell me that I testify I cannot trace.
How many untraceable bills do you have in Jigawa North region?
Like 3,000.
You just mentioned that there are bills, all bills are traceable. And 3,000 is actually a very huge number.
Yes, but I'm only one out of the 160 RMs, so the rest will go and trace them immediately.
Basically, anyway, see, the question is, what strategies are you guys doing to ensure you trace these customers? So I would like to end this question on this note. No, I will not answer the same question again. But that was time. This question is actually directed to me, I'm sure. This person is saying customers are losing confidence in having their complaints resolved at regional office levels and have often resorted to using media organizations. What are you doing to curtail the amount of queries that are either directed at the head office or radio stations? If you resolve customer queries timely, they won't have any cause to go to the media organizations. And honestly, this is just what I'll tell you. A lot of the times we hear complaints from our media guys or even on the radio stations. So try as much as possible whenever you have a customer complaint, resolve it religiously before these guys lose confidence in you and start going to the media organizations. It's a bad image for the company. We don't like that. Abdul Aziz Abubakar is saying, what is the management going to do about areas with low voltage, either due to poor cable or overpopulation? And what is the management plan about the delay for connection, customers, and reconnection of those customers that paid after disconnection? Are you actually referring to the management or your regional management? The regional management. And this is Gaida CSP, which is in Kano Industrial. What is your plan about delay for connection of new customers and reconnection of those customers that have paid after disconnection? He said in Kano Industrial Region, they don't delay customer connection and they don't delay customer reconnection after payment, right? Is that what you're saying? But this guy is from your region, and I'm sure he's either a sales rep or a CSP supervisor or wherever. So is it the RM or the sales rep? I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Is there any other strategies apart from metering? Okay, I've answered this. Prior to metering, some customers, they were paying 60,000 naira on monthly estimation, and after installation of meters, customers begin to pay 300,000 naira averagely. Please, could you educate us on indices you were using to arrive at this estimation? Who wrote this question? No name?
Is this person a staff?
Those are the questions. And the heads of units just behind the MD sitting are actually raising up their hands. So I would like to give them just the remaining 5 to 8 minutes to ask their questions. Please be as brief as possible. Can somebody hand over the mic to them?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mustafa Abdu, Executive Assistant to the MD CEO. My question is, we know that there are hundreds of thousands of consumers in the rural areas and peripheries of urban areas that are connected to our grid, but they are not in our books. And a lot of shady people tend to go and collect money in our name, but for the sake of their pockets. What are you regional managers doing to address this issue? Thank you.
Issue of corruption, staff actually stealing companies' money? That's what you're saying?
Two questions.
Impersonation.
Number one, what are they doing to ensure those consumers are converted to customers? Secondly, what are they doing to address those people,
NEPA 2
and whoever they are, who collect money in the name of Kedco but put it in their pockets? Thank you.
You want to answer that? Mike? Nike. Okay. Please be brief about it. We don't have time. We have just 5 minutes remaining.
Well, actually, what the plan that we're doing, like Kano West did, by community engagement and opening the transformers. Once, if you engage yourselves, we are engaging ourselves with the district head, village head, and ward heads, and they are in conjunction with our regional securities, both especially in our areas. If you look at it, it's not the issue of that matters. You know, it's the issue of attitude and doing the right thing. And there's nothing wrong on doing the right thing. Let me give you one scenario on particular area. All our R1 customers, if you look at Mejama can testify, they are on credit. Because even in the rural area, they are paying 1,000 naira in the average. So the problem that we are having in the rural area, there is no town that you can go. They won't say that they are not connected to our network. You only see a service wire, 11 service wire, for example. So you are going to have only 11 bills on that area. So at the end of the day, you see the marketers collecting 1,000 naira. So at the end of the day, you see that we collect 150,000. At the end of the day, based on R1 tariff, 210 naira. So you can see the amount coming to Kedco is only 3,100. So the issue of attitude, that's why we are enlightening both the staff and then the community. Because if you open transformer, a lot of feelers, they will reveal itself. So honestly, we have to be hard on that one, and that's what we are doing.
Thank you, RM Kasina North. Somebody wants to talk about that? 30 seconds?
Yes, another thing that we did, we have to ensure that all the CSUs, they take the ownership of their areas. They have to report any illegal activities that is going within their area of jurisdiction. At the same time, we go ahead with sensitization to the community so that they should understand the NEPA, the Kedco staff, and then the NEPA 2.
We'll take the last question before we close the session. The last question?
Yeah. My question is on the mobile POS. I just want to know what the regional managers are
doing. To who? Your question to who?
On the issue of mobile POS, the POS machines for collection. Hello? I want to know what the regional managers are doing to effectively monitor the POS machines, because our aim of ensuring that every sales rep has a POS machine is being endangered.
Now, Mike.
The return of investment on the encourages the vendors to supply more machines is being endangered because the utilization is not really encouraging. So I want to know what the RMs. Yeah, okay.
I think this would be a return question from Kano West. I want to request ICT to actually look at areas that have different network service. Because in my case, if a POS has an Etisalat or a V-Mobile network, and you're working maybe in Gorzo that has an MTN network, you see the sales rep cannot actually use his POS. So he has to bring back his money down to the region. So that's why I said it's a return question back to the ICT.
Thank you very much. I think that's peculiar to your region. Let us hear. Is all over? How about the city RMs? Kano Central RM, can you tell us the level of utilization of these POS machines?
I think in terms of utilization of POS, I think the results for my region show for itself. And I think even one of the vendors says, I was the first person to, at least on a particular POS, to exceed the 5 million mark. And we've encouraged that, and we ensure that most staff use their POS. And we want to encourage management to ensure that each and every sales rep get that POS. We can be able to manage them. Would be able, and going forward, like I said, this POS, I would still say, based on what is going, we still have to, I mean, this is probably goes back to you, and as much as possible going forward, we have to reduce cash handling. We have to reduce cash handling as much as possible. And the only way using that POS is also to activate the ATM card. Once that is done, you'll find out that you're going to reduce a lot of losses, and in collections is likely to increase. Most especially within the city regions. The city, the four regions.
The problem, the issue with enabling ATM or debit card or credit card based machines is that the credit card companies charge 2.5% over and above what we are paying to the as commission to the POS agents. So our POSs are basically just receipting machines which record the receipts directly onto our server. It could be solved, as you said, by number of issues. We can reduce cash transactions and all that, but it's too expensive for the POS vendors to consider right now. If we increase the usage a bit, if we increase the utilization and the volume of transactions go up, then they will probably consider that. As of now, it's not feasible for them and not feasible for us either.
The COO is talking about utilization. If you increase the utilization, there is no limit to what we can do with the POS machine. So that means the utilization is still very poor.
Let me respond to the RM's complaint. I think I can partially forgive Maimuna for saying that the network connection in the regions is not good for the POS to work. I think for all the RMs that have been using POS before, Maimuna Kano West, I think, is the last region to adopt the POS. I think all of you know that for all the vendors that we have, they provide the data and they provide the papers. And when they come, because it is important for them to have a return on investment, they actually look at all the networks and they provide SIM for the best network in your area. So if the SIM they provided or the network provider that they're using for their POS is not good in your area, it's a simple case. You just tell us, we'll inform the vendor, and the vendor will replace the SIMs for you. I think it has been done for several of the vendors. My question back to you is, you've been using this POS for a year and a half, close to 2 years now, and still you find, when you go through the transactions every month, you find certain CSPs with one transaction done for an operator doing just one transaction, 2 transactions, 5 transactions, which means he has done nothing in the month. Maybe he collected just 2,000 or 5,000. What has he been doing all through the month? And what has the RM, the regional CRO, and the supervisor been doing to actually find out why that guy has not collected any money? Again, why is it that even with the POS, you find out that a staff has a POS, there is no collection done by that staff until at 9 o'clock? Does it mean that he does not go out with the POS, he just goes out, collects the cash, keeps the one he wants, then receives the one he wants? Why is it that there is no proper monitoring? That's for that. My question to the MD customers is, why is it that you are not looking at the deployment of MD smart meters? Because I think it's easier to deploy MD smart meters and actually activate, because we already have them. We have the meter data management. Why are you not looking at, activating the meter data management so that you can monitor your MD customers? Because they actually are we have the highest theft coming from the MD customers, and that energy that they still ends up going back to the non-MD customers. I'm even surprised why the RMs are not even pushing for the metering of the MD customers, because that would mean a reduction in their non-MD collections. Thank you.
Somebody wants to. MD section, he's talking about smart meters for monitoring. And for the RMs, he's talking about effective monitoring of the POS and effective utilization of the POS machines. I think due to lack of time, we'll just close this session. I don't know if the MDCO has, okay, Mr. Ravindra has something to say before we close the session.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, are you able to listen? Okay. You see, it was a excellent interaction, but I was finding there are a couple of things which are worth mentioning here. Barring out of 9 RMs, I found only 1 or 2 spoke of disconnection, whereas in HRB we have some 30,600 customers who have not paid our dues.
Silence. Please, stop loitering around and stop making noise, please.
In HRB there are some 30,600 customers who have defaulted, and they are worth 5.34 billion naira. And all I have been saying, and we took rounds of the regional offices also, even if you get 10% out of that, it is 500 million naira. This, the second point is, so please insist on only disconnection of these HRB 30,600 people who have not paid us, say worth 5.34 billion naira. And mind you, this billing itself is around, as per my calculations, 15 to 20% of the energy which they have actually consumed. And even that they are not paying. So you have all the right, and do not give them even a single naira discount in those bills. Then there is a, we are bringing out very soon to you another thing which is of the disconnected HRB customers, which money value will be available tomorrow, which is what CRAO has promised, and our legally worded letter is ready, which you have to just deliver, and it is a very strong letter, just saying that you used our electricity, your supply was disconnected, and you are not paying our money, and we'll take you to legal further action, and you are likely to get good money out of that. We have also circulated you some 17,000 cases of HRB who are not vending at all. So my request to you, Kano Central Regional Manager, you already have people who are stealing our electricity. So you need not waste your PPM monitoring team. Simply book them first who are not vending, and the data is available. You see, people cannot live without electricity. There is a ready-made data available, and you know how much electricity they have stolen till now. The calculations show from the time the Kedco was launched, 16 billion naira worth they have not vended. So we have to catch them, book them. I know that Kano Central is booking a lot, but there is a lot which is yet to be done, and you can utilize that manpower which is going for PPM monitoring instead on booking these cases which you know for sure they are indulging in theft. Then as it was covered by, I think ICT HOU also, like the way RM Kano Industrial is doing, that he is indicating that I suspect a theft in this particular feeder because of the energy accounting you people are doing. So you can very well say that and pass on. Now we have HOU enforcement in place, and they work through you only, and as you know, we go as a 10 teams, 20 teams, and it is all going to help you, because the money which is going to be billed as a result of booking these theft indulging customers is going to reduce from the billing which is going to the non-MD customers, and they are not paying partially because their billing is abnormal. Then in case of SCB, which some other people have also covered, our data is saying some 300,000 people are not paying even a single naira. So for the December month, even if you get 1,000 naira from these people by various ways, it's a 300 million naira. Means, and these people are using electricity and not paying a single naira. So this is the point which I'll say that if you carry back, it will definitely help you achieve the target in the month of December and onwards also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Ravindra Joshi, for that comment. With this, I would like to close this session by saying that it's just an appeal. I would like to enjoin all our RMs and their foot soldiers to actually ensure that whatever we pledge here, we're committed to actually achieving it. Because at pledging that you're going to bring in 3 billion naira, revenue generation is very important. But there are key things that you have to actually put in place if you actually want to achieve this 3 billion naira target. Customer enumeration, customer validation, operational efficiency, which has to do with the reduction of the feeder downtimes and customer complaints. Customer intimacy, be very courteous in terms of your relationship with the customers. With this, inshallah, we can achieve more than 3 billion naira in Kedco. On this note, I would like to say thank you very much to the panelists. Thank you very much to our umpires, and thank you very much to our audience. Sir. Hey, Barry. If he doesn't have anything to say, closing? Okay.
Thank you, wonderful people. You guys are very nice. Yes, you answered this question brilliantly. Don't worry, you can. Thank you very much. Wasn't this section of the presentation very wholesome? You have to say?
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for participation in this very important interaction. As I said, there is no hiding place for any of the RMs. And this is a time for accountability. So each and every one of them has shown what he is made of. There are those of them that are very political in answering. There are those that are serious, and there are those that are really just above average. Everybody has shown his true color. Am I right? So, what I will urge is that my concern actually is that at the moment we have reached the target of 2 billion. And I have not heard any one of you telling me how we can maintain 2 billion in December. Because 2 billion is just a number. We have reached that. And I have not had any strategy that, maybe one of them has said that, maybe the RM Central has said that starting early is the key. But I'm really concerned that for the month of December, I do not want us to go below the 2 billion. Otherwise, it's just going to be a flux. I do not want it to be a flux. I want it to be a trend where we can now say for certain that, yes, we have really started towards a positive trajectory. So I think what I would like to urge you is that December is very key to see whether that 2 billion is a flux or it is the culmination of all our strategies, all the restructuring, all what we are doing that has manifested in this collection. So I will urge you to really pay attention and bring all the strategies that you have to ensure that you maintain the 2 billion so that we know that by the end of December, by January, we're really talking about going beyond that, achieving the 3 billion target. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You can be dismissed.
Thank you very much, Hebel RMs, and most importantly, the moderator of this very interesting section of the segment of the conference, the acting head of corporate communication, Sani Balasani. Thank you very much. That was wholesome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know we're all tired, but we're rounding up. The MD has asked us to give 5 minutes to the union members, particularly Comrade Ahmed Raji. You have 5 minutes to come and make your presentation, sir. Comrade Ahmed Raji, please. The MD will now give us a validatory speech after Comrade Raji has made his presentation. Thank you very much. Can you give him a round of applause?
The MD, Chief Executive Officer, Kano Electricity Distribution Company, my Deputy President General North, Comrade Nasru Dambo, my branch president, Kano branch, Comrade Adoyola, members of management staff, my colleagues, good evening. Let me start by congratulating the company. I'm starting from the staff, the management, the MD, and the board for this 50% starting point we are going. What we are having in mind is 4 billion. We have today gotten 2 billion. That means what we are saying, we have started 50%, and therefore the journey will continue, so that next year we will celebrate the 4 billion, God willing. From that point, MD, let me appreciate you and thank you sincerely. Why are we saying this? It's because you have made this event to be now annually. Last year we were here, we have spoken, we have told you our culture, our structure, and what we want. This year, what we have seen is also a different trend we are seeing. And what you are doing, we have looked around in the entire defunct formation of PHCN. Nobody is doing what you are doing. And because of this factor of what you are doing, MD, I want to tell you that in labor, we prognose all over. Under my jurisdiction, I have 17 chief executives that I relate with, 4 distribution companies, 3 regional managers, 7 sub-regions, 3 hydro stations. If you sum them up, I have about 17, and my deputy president is having 18 with Abuja. MD, I want to say it, you are the most loved MD of your staff. I can say this, you are the most amiable MD of your staff. Because of reason, I can tell you that I sleep very well on Kano issue. My branch president for a very long time have not called me on any issue in Kano. Not quite long, we came back from Jos to do a rescue mission. You are a board member of Kaduna, sir, and you know what we are trying and what we are doing in Kaduna, and we want you to do something in Kaduna, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, on the part of labor, we want to be honest with you that this business we are now doing, it is also our own concern. When we had a collection of 1.4 around September, my branch president called me and said, be informed that we are not sleeping, we are worried, and therefore we want to do something. And what have they done? The 2 in-house union met, and they started with the CEO up to the last member of staff. What do we do to improve this situation? If that has not gone to you, sir, I'm telling you from this podium that this is the first step we did in early part of October. Besides that, we as members of SAYAC organized a workshop, a 2-day workshop, which was declared open by your CEO. And what were we doing? We nominated members of staff, irrespective of where you belong to. The concern is we need to come together, talk to ourselves, let's have facilitators, internally, externally. How do we move this company? And we did that at our own expense, sir. We brought 10 members from each of the regions for 2 days. The conference was declared open by your CEO, and it was closed by your CCSO. Sir, I have it with me, a letter of appreciation sent to our association from your corporate service department, appreciating what we have done. If that has not gone to you, sir, we are giving you this as an information. Sir, we are very much concerned because it's an issue of survival. It's not a question of who owns this company again. It's not a question of who is an MD. Once there is no salary, there is nothing anybody can say. And that is why we have issues. And sir, why have I said that in labor we are having our eyes sleep on Kano? Because you have now provided a conducive environment. Your staff are now having more concern because there is no threat to job loss. You are no longer talking of job loss in Kano. But go to other areas. Whenever they sleep tomorrow, they are asking, are we surviving tomorrow? So if you have an environment where your staff are sure of their daily pay, I am telling you, Mr. MD, the height will be our end. They will definitely drive this company to the end. We don't need to talk to anybody any longer. Whoever misbehaves knows what he has done. My challenge now goes to your RM. Last year, I challenged them. The challenge I gave them last year is, you have promised what you want to do, but they have no promise last year. But the good aspect, sir, that I want you to also go and sleep, is that you brought them out. They have identified the issues on ground. So you don't need to talk to any staff. All what you have is your RM and your middle management staff. They are now your concern. If they have identified and they have the staff with them, That means they must drive this company and get us 4 billion by next year. That is the point. So, MD, go and sleep. Don't disturb yourself again. If they mess up, you know where you have your issues. Please don't even look at their other stuff. Your RMs, they are your key points. Then your management staff. Lastly, MD, we want to also congratulate you for this wonderful victory you have made. Because in the entire North, I've not heard where 2 billion came. I know Abuja might have, but it's not within my jurisdiction. My deputy president will speak of that one. But even that, with what they have, they don't have a conducive environment like what you have. Lastly, sir, you want to intensify these 2 billion we have gotten. I want to make a request that this incentive we are giving should be broken into 3. I have not taken the permission of my deputy president, but at least I have the authority to say it. I know he will not query me. Sir, from the MD down to the ladder, they will get one part of it. The company that also provided them the room for them to move should also have, so that we will be able to procure this little thing, ladder and other thing. Then the union should also have one part of it. Oh, so it's becoming a selfishness. Because I have just said it, that we organize a conference. The chief corporate officer is here. He should be able to testify. We bought the hotel bills. We bought the transport costs of all people that came here. So if we are empowered, Mr. MD, we can go beyond this. We are assuring you of this. Lastly, sir, you know, when there are good sharing, we also need something. And what is that something? Sir, we know that we don't have issues. Salaries have been guaranteed by the CFO that 25th we will get our salaries. So, we have started the journey. Don't have doubt. Yes, we will have that. Mr. MD, sir, you know that as we are moving gradually, we also want to move with whatever we are. So, our third-party payment, especially the pension component. So we need to see that at least we have gotten 2 billion, that something has been done to reduce that aspect. We don't have outstanding on tax. We don't have any outstanding of any allowances. This is our request. We thank you very much. We wish you all Allah's guidance and blessing. The director from Kaduna yesterday made mention something that disturbed me. He said, Gombe people are not looking for you. But to us, that is not our concern. Our concern is whatever is good for you, may Allah do it for you. Because if you are in Gombe, you will be able to have the entire sector, not only Gombe people. You are part of this sector. You'll be part of the National Economic Council that will discuss the issue of power. So if Gombe is there, we want you to be in Gombe, sir. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, comrade. Thank you very much, comrade. We are also going to take 5 minutes, give 5 minutes to the Nui. And there is this popular say that what a man can do, a woman can do even better. Now, this time around, we are going to invite to the podium a female comrade, gentle but very dogged. I know her very well, Comrade Rabi Muhammad. Please, can you come and tell us your own side of the story? Please, can you give her a round of applause? I'll fight.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. As my colleague said, yes, gentle but rugged. I'm here to congratulate the MD, especially for giving the union, especially NUI, the deserved support we needed from him. We had it in mind that the company was struggling through, fluctuating revenue generation. And so we met him specifically and asked him to please give us the permission to go round the regional office and the head office to talk to staff, convince them on how to, push more for the company, for us to realize that money we need to move ourselves forward and the company too. And he gave us that permission. We went round all the offices and then made this agreement with our staff that we must do this, if not for the company, for ourselves. Because if this company is not here today, we all will not be here. And everybody agreed to this. And that is why we were able to move forward, move ourselves forward, drive in and out to make sure we get this money. I'm only a little comrade here. My senior comrades from the NUI are there in Lagos having their conference. And so I had to take permission from them to do this. MD, I thank you for what you have done to us and what you still will be doing for us. I'll call on Hajia Hamamatu. She's the chairperson of my women wing. Should come also forward to say something and make all of us understand the reason why we are here. The MD has supported us, so we have no reason to object to whatever he says to us. We'll be there to support him from today until the day he leaves Kedco to the government house in Gombe. People will say they don't want him, but we know deep down inside they need him, they want him forever, and we'll be there to march together with him to the State House in Abuja. So Haji Amamatu, I want you to come forward, please, to say little things. Hurry up. We have just 5 minutes. Okay, my head of unit is telling me to just let you halt there. So please, let's continue to work together, teamwork, and the union, National Union of Electricity Employees will always be there to hear the staff out and listen to our problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Solidarity forever. Solidarity for forever for the union. Eh? Thank you. We have come to the very end of this event. We have come to the very last item on our agenda for this event, which is going to be a remark from the MD CEO, which of course will be a valedictory speech for this year's marketing conference, Empower Conference. I'm sure that all of us had a fruitful deliberation and stay. So with this, I'd like to call on the MD CEO, Kano Electricity Distribution PLC, Dr. Jamil Isiaku Gomna. Please, can you give him a round of applause?
My fellow colleagues, good. Is it afternoon or evening? Which one? I'm seeing some empty seats. What's happening? People still out. Well, let me say something very, very clear. My passion for now remains Kedco. That is my passion for now, and it will remain so until God decides what is best for me. So please and please, for now, let us focus on Kedco and how we can make Kedco greater. The topic I want to discuss today is here. The future is now. And basically what we are saying is that we believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And the topic is really apt because we are discussing the sector as it is, where we are as a company, and where we want to be in the journey that we have set for ourselves. Now, all of us have known that the the sector that we operate is really in a dire situation. Why? Because most of the companies, the utility companies like our own, are not able to pay the market operator. That means they are not able to pay for the power that they are supplied to. They are not able to collect this money from the customers, whereby they will generate this money and then pay this money, along the value chain. The market operator, embed, the generation companies. So it's a big challenge. And because of that, we are running a deficit of almost about, if I can recall, is in trillions, right? I know it's over 500 billion or so. So this is the state of the market. It's a market that cannot sustain itself for a number of reasons. One, because the tariff that we operate at the moment is still very stagnant. Even from the tariff itself, we are not able to cover the cost of electricity supply. And that has been a challenge. And the government of the day is not willing, it has not started with the government, it has started with the previous government, that were not able to face the issue of tariff once and for all. Because if you are not able to pay or to charge the right price for your product, then it is an issue. It is this, the simplest way to close down is to undercharge your customers or to undercharge for a service that you provide, because you cannot survive. And this is akin to the position that we find ourselves today. We're unable to charge the required tariff to enable us pay for the services that we render to our customers. And because tariff is a very sensitive issue, there has never been any tariff increase, for the last, 3 years. The last that happened was in 2015, January, I believe. So we are seeing that there are a lot of gaps in terms of the revenue of the sector. Even if we are unable to collect from the customers, the problem is still being compounded by the fact that the tariff itself has not reflected the cost of the service. So this is one challenge. However, as we have seen, that the government has come up with what we call the Economic and Recovery Growth Program. This is a program that affects the whole sector of the economy. It looks at the various sectors. It looked at the power, the health, and other sectors of the economy. But it has laid more emphasis on power because they believe power supply is very, very important for development of the country, because it's one, of course, not the only, but it's one of the key factors that affect what we call, that has a multiplier effect on the economy. And it is one of the key elements that can provide, easy increase in terms of GDP for any nation. So that is why, as a government, power supply, it's very, very important. Now, out of that, and out of the concern for the sector, which all of us, we have to understand the situation at the moment. There is a program called the Power Sector Recovery Plan, or program, which is anchored by the World Bank, the government, and other stakeholders. Now, the essence of this program is to ensure that the power sector is restored to normalcy. They have taken out a 5-year period whereby, you reset the sectors when we say we reset, because if you remember, when we bought this company, or the companies in terms of the privatized power sector, we have taken for ourselves, it's a contract we have signed that in 5 years, we are going to reduce losses from X amount. In case of Kano, it was 40% before the study, the revalidation study, that made it to about 48% when we took over. So that has to be, reset. And then we have also ensured that, sign a pact that we are going to meter customers. That every year, we are going to meter 100,000 customers in Kano. Are we able to do that? The answer is no. How much of that have we been able to do? Maybe less than a third. That's the honest. Why? Because it requires investment. And investment does not come cheaply. It comes with a cost. There has been a number of policies to address metering. Recently, I think the regulator is considering a policy on how to finance meters and other equipment for the sector, simply because they have recognized that metering involves a lot of money. For example, the about 70,000 meters that we got cost us nothing less than almost about $25 or $26 million that we bought. So imagine, but how much are we making from the business itself? So this is something that the government, this plan, the ESPR, the PSRP, is going to address. It has identified for each of the discos how much shortfall that is due. And this shortfall eventually will be netted off the market deficit that, for example, Kedco is owing the market. At the moment, we are owing more than 40 billion. And the shortfall that is due to Kedco is about, I think, 48 billion or so. So we are very positive in terms of that. So this is the structure of the market. That is why, irrespective of anything, these are the external environment. But let us look at our internal environment. Our challenges mainly is about cash collection. How do we improve cash collection? We know that the cash is out there. Some other people are taking advantage of our non-presence in some areas, or even our presence, but with the connivance of some of us and the popular NEPA 2 or whatever you call them, to get this money into their pockets. And they are depriving us of the money that will come to us in order to enable us make this investment that will improve the service that we deliver to the customer. So it is something that all of us as staff of this company must recognize. Without money, nothing can be achieved. That is the fact. So you are the foot soldiers, and I've never been prouder of you guys. I'm very, very proud. Because honestly, for Kano Electricity has been very lucky in terms of getting the right people and the right skills. And above all, the commitment to deliver. It is different when you sit down as the strategy group will sit down, come up with strategies on how we can achieve something. Then it is different when it comes to implementation. It has always been the bane of not only Kedco, but the whole country. So we want to run away from that curse, whatever you may call it. Now, where are we today? Fortunately, we have done the restructuring, and the restructuring has now led to these things that we are seeing. I think most of the book code realignment, I believe it has been completed. Am I correct? And the feeder metering is still ongoing, especially we have metered all the 33 KVs, the 11 kV feeders are still, is it completed, certified? That's a good achievement. And then, of course, then the next thing is the LT metering, or the transformer metering. That is the next. We have more than 6,000 transformers across the network. What we want to do is to ensure that each of these transformers are cost centers. You meter them, you know the exact energy that you are consuming, and then you can account for the energy, the losses from that transformer. It's not going to be just, okay, I have X number of customers, and this is their bills, and probably you may be overcharging them, or you may be undercharging them. So the best way is to ensure that each of our transformers are metered correctly. And the next stage, which I think probably Aminu has talked about it, is the deployment of the ARP by SAGE. I don't know, maybe some of you has known what SAGE is. SAGE 3X, the X3. You know, it's a whole suite. It's a suite of, you know, management tools that can ease a lot of, you know, issues. And more importantly, it will ensure accountability at every point, from the human resources to the finance. You know, things will not be business as usual. There's going to be more transparency in the way we do things. So it's very important for us to understand. And with the little resources that we have, we're able to increase the deployment of our working tools. And also, we are now trying to ensure that we become a performance-based company, because that is the only way for people to be correctly rewarded and then penalized accordingly. Because there are two sides to incentives. Incentives can be positive or negative. So when you say incentives, it also connotes, you know, penalties, discipline. It's not just about the reward, but it's also about penalties. So the corporate services department under the ODD, you know, are doing a very good job in that, coming up with the reward and performance system. And more importantly for us as a company, and for those of us that are serving people, what we need to do is to know the assets that is across the entire, you know, area of our operation. So that one is ongoing, and we're going to do that. Well, the next, how do I want to see Kedco in the next 5 years from now? No, that is the question. When you say Kedco of the future, and what is that future? How do you define that? I don't want to sound too academic, but it's a question that, you know, when you say Kedco of the future, what is that future? You can't look at the future without looking at the back. I've enumerated where we were, you know, where you know, the sector, the company that we are at the moment, and where I want to see Kedco in the next 5 years. One, we'll see that over the next 5 years, we are going to create, because the restructuring, no matter the teething problems that it has had, has no doubt produced result. Am I right? So we still have a lot of CSPs and TSPs to create. So over these years, as we grow, we are going to, you know, create more TSPs and CSPs. And that will do what? It will lead to more people coming into the company to help with this. So I'm very proud that Kedco has remained one of the most, you know, productive company in terms of giving livelihoods to people. And also that will necessitate the process realignment, to jobs, and so on and so forth. These are an ongoing things. And the next I have said is consolidation, which is the feeder metering, which we have done. But now, of course, we are going to do up to the LT point. And then besides the LT, besides the feeders, we are also looking at transformers, which will be, you know, the most accounting, it will be most accountable way of, you know, knowing how many kilowatt hours that we take and how much we are losing. We are still a long way to go, but it's the path that we have chosen for ourselves. We are going to do that. Now, the Kedco of the future that I see is a Kedco that looks at the whole ecosystem. We look at the environment and see how we can fit into those environments. I've talked about the incentive system, which is the reward system, which will continue. And in that, we have started by, you know, the deal that we have made with this, with the RMs. I don't know how, we are still trying to resolve, you know, the target and how much we are going to pay each and every one of them. That will get down to you guys. So each and every one of you will share in this reward. However, I said yesterday that there was a downside to the issue. Excuse me, I've seen other people loitering. This is why is anybody that is outside, I want to just close the gate for me, please. Close that gate. And anybody who is not inside, let him just close it. Where is the other person? Go and man the other gate. Collect their ID cards for me. Collect their ID cards. Anybody who is not in, collect his ID card. And close the door for me. Because this is a disciplined organization. We are not an organization that has no discipline. Close it. Now, in terms of the compensation and reward, what we have set for ourselves, excuse me, quiet please. What we have set for ourselves is that, yes, as the union have said, my idea is not to just employ people and then sack them after 2 or 3 months. No, that is not why we are here. My idea is to develop you to ensure that those of you that are out there, one day you will be here as an MDCO. That is my challenge. It's not for you to just look, and I'm telling you, and I mean this, one of you will one day be an MDCO of this company, as long as Kedco remains in business. So your horizon should be more than just being a sales reps. You have other things. You know, one day you should be a regional manager. From regional manager, you can be an MD or a chief or whatever. That should be your horizon. So there is a clear path. Yesterday, the CCSO has made a presentation in terms of the mapping and, you know, succession. We have a succession plan here. We're developing one. So the idea is for people to understand their role, be committed, and give the best to the company. And honestly, the 2 billion that we achieve is not by flux. It's by determined effort. Is that right? It's all of you, each and every one of you has given his best to ensure that we meet this target. If you have not given your best, I can tell you, we will not reach anywhere. And 2 billion is just a figure in our psyche. Once we're able to cross that, because in the past we say, look, 2 billion, we see 2 billion in a distant, future. We feel that it's something that we cannot achieve. But I can tell you, after crossing this 2 billion, we have seen that it's just what? It's a piece of cake, isn't it? It means we can do better. And we know what we need to do to make it better. So, that's why I'm emphasizing that for December, for us to show our commitment, this is the month to show commitment. Because the number of days are shorter. As one of the speakers, RM, said, by the 15th, 16th, most people are on holiday mood. They are on holiday mood. So only those people that are at home that will begin to respond. So it is very important to start early. As we walk out of this hall today, let us be determined that 3 billion will be made hopefully in the next 3 months. It's achievable. And what I also want to see the improved synergy. Improved synergy is for each and every one of us to be working together as a team. I have seen the court here. I don't know who did this court. What is the next slide? Yeah, the synergy. This court. So I'm not plagiarizing, please. I don't know who did this court. So it's not my court. Okay? I don't know where, Hashidu, where did you get this court from? Where did you get the court from? Yes? I can see you now. Go ahead. Give him the mic. Yeah? Can you, because this is a very good quote, but I'm afraid to quote it because I don't know the source.
Sir, the source of this quote is right there. Abiodun Balogun, sir.
Where is it?
Right there next to you. Abi Biodun of Vardenzil, sir.
Where?
Look at him, sir.
Oh, this?
Yes,
Abiodun?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but even you should have just said by Abiodun of Vardenzil.
Okay,
It should
sir.
be recognized.
Yes, sir.
It should be recognized. So here, we are just quoting without giving the quote.
He gave you the credit, sir, but now...
No. You see, with this, not the way we do. Because in academics, there's no way, it's not your own. Somebody has used his intellect to say something, and you just bring it as your own. That is not. So, Abiodun, thank you. So this quote, I don't know where you got this from. Is it your own? Or you also, or is it Google? In academics, it teaches you discipline of, plagiarism. It's a very, very serious offense. Quoting other people without giving the credit to them. So, synergy is not doing things individually together, but doing things together as individuals. Is that correct? So, I like the quote, and I think it just says it all. So, I want us to really see ourselves as a team and be doing things as a team together. And that is the only way we can survive. And that is the only way we can move this company forward and achieve all those things that remain impossible. Nothing is impossible. Only things that you make it impossible that are impossible for yourself. I don't see anything as impossible. Because God has made the human being to be the most important creation in this world. So you can achieve anything, honestly. Your background, your education, your whatever, where you come from does not matter. Your religion, your ethnicity does not matter. What is important is you as an individual, how you develop yourself. That is what is important. And you can be anything. You can be anything. So please have confidence in yourself. Know that one day you can be something. Today you may be a sales rep. Tomorrow you are a supervisor. Next tomorrow you can be anything else. But more importantly, wherever you are, whatever role that you find yourself, please be committed and contribute the best for yourself. And that is the only way you feel at ease with your conscience. You can go and sleep and be committed and be assured that, tomorrow will be a better day for us. Now, when you talk about the employee, this is the employee of the future that we're looking at. Want somebody that has independence of mind, somebody that can create things. Not just about what your regional manager or your CCS or whatever, you don't want to be a zombie. Do you remember the fella song, Zombie? Zombie, oh zombie. You remember? We don't want to be zombies. We want to be people with independent intellect, because God has given us this intellect that nobody can take away from you. It's individualistic, but you have to make use of it to be useful to everybody. Now, of course, when you have that intellect, then you are open to many possibilities, challenging things, interpreting, interrogating things, and also being able to contribute positively. So these are some of the things I see in you as the staff of the future, because you are the staff. You are the future of this company. That is the truth. So this is what you need to develop. Now, more importantly, I talked about loss reduction. You can see our losses from 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. It is not getting any better. And what this means in terms of Naira and Kobo, it means that every percentage that we reduce, I don't know whether, let's go back to our simple mathematics. Proportionality. There are the relationship between loss reduction and revenue. Are they positively correlated or negatively correlated? Are they? What is the relationship? Are they negatively correlated or positively correlated? There is a correlation here. For students of statistics, when they see this, they would like to interrogate more and find out what does this represent. You say 52%, and then 53.6%, 59%, 64.7%. What is the impact of this on your revenue? This is the question each and every one of us will ask. And these are the commitments we sign with BP, with the government, that over 5 years, we'll be able to reduce losses from the supposed 48%, that's after revalidation, to, I think, for Kedco, it's supposed to be about 11 or 12% over 5 years. I know there are many things that are missing, but look at where we are today. 64.7, that is month on month. So our challenge is to try to reduce losses. And you know where the losses comes from? Take out the ATC, A, T, C, and C loss. Our greatest challenge is the commercial and collection loss. The two C's that are part of the ATC, A, T, C, and C. So, and commercial losses are what? They are what? They are theft, just like the RMs alluded. Commercial theft, people that are stealing this electricity and not paying. These are commercial losses. Wrong billing. When you bill people wrongly, you give them energy, or you bill them for money, for energy that they have not consumed, and it turns out that it's wrong. It's a commercial loss. Collection losses, as we all know, are when the bills are printed and you deliver to customer and you are unable to collect this money. It's commercial loss. Collection losses. So, these two losses are within our ambit. We can definitely do something on that. And your task as the sales reps, the TSPs, and everybody is to ensure that together we reduce our commercial losses. How do you reduce commercial losses? One, we ensure that we monitor people all the time on what they consume. And secondly, we bill people correctly so that we are not accused of overbilling. Because if you overbill, nobody will pay that. We want to ensure that we are very fair to our customers. Let us bill them with the energy that they consume, not an energy like rainfall. Before, what we do is rainfall billing. Do you know what rainfall billing is? After you remove MD, then the rest of the bill is what they call Kame Uadawabi, is it? That's what we do. That's the truth. Because you remove ND because they are already metered, you remove the PPMs that are metered, and then the rest, the postpaid that are not, postpaid that have bills that have meters, remove them. Then the rest of the consumers or our customers that do not have meters, you now just come and sit down and say, oh, look, this is the amount of energy. So I'm going to distribute 8,000. That's not fair. That's not fair, honestly. And this is one of the things I'm trying to get away, from this. I want to have happy customers that can pay. If somebody has just 2 balls or 3 balls, and you go and bill him 10,000, one, you are not being fair to the company, because you have to know, especially now for those CSPs that have latched onto the virtual decomposition program that we are going to do. You are now going to meter. You are going to build these customers at your level. So you have to be fair to them. There's no point for you to go and meter a customer that did not consume that, do not have the capacity to pay, and you give him a bill that he cannot pay. You are being very, very dishonest. And you are doing a great disservice to the company. You know why? Because every bill that you print and let out, and you cannot collect, what does that comes to? It becomes a receivable. And a receivable that you cannot collect becomes what? A bad debt. So you are clogging the balance sheet of the company. And that makes us look very bad. I have said it several times. Our receivable from January to November is, how much is our receivable? Why is it receivable? 27 billion. Can you imagine? Kedco has 27 billion receivables. These are bills that are already out that we are unable to collect. 27 billion. Is that realistic? Some of these bills are collectible. Like Mr. Ravindra said, we have segmented customers. Now we have from the MD, we have identified the HRB and also the HCB, and then we are coming down to that. We know that the HRB, their bills, they have outstanding of more than 5.3 or 5.4 billion. If we put every effort on this, these are people that they have the capacity to pay and they consume this energy. So with a bit of pushing and monitoring, they will collect. I mean, you will be able to collect the money. Am I right? So please focus on those, customers. And then the other thing is, if we now look at the billing itself, I've just talked to the CRAO that we have problems in terms of the billing. I do not want to be changing billing systems like you are changing your pant. You don't do that because these are expensive investment. The billing system that we have, I think, is being upgraded. Am I right? It has commenced? So it will now enable us to have some features that will at least provide us with what we need to do at a minimum to enable us, serve customers well and bill customers well. And also track, data is very important. You track customers' history, get all the, by the time we deploy the ERP by Sage, we'll have, MIS, which is the Management Information System aspect of it, whereby all customer information will be imputed And at a click of a button, all those that are working at the customer centers and so on and so forth, they will be able to just, plug in and then come up with the customer information wherever you are, Kedco wide. So you don't need to call the bill or what is the bill of this. You know, once somebody is identified, whether he's metered or not metered, you'll have a special number that you input, and you can get all the information about that customer. So we're deploying that, and it's going to be one of the most important investment that we consider. So billing is very, very important. We have identified some of the issues. Like recently, the CEO has sat down with one of he did the customer service, the computer, what do you call it? CCM. He sat down with him, he said, I need to build this. And they build about 15 million. Then after a while, he comes back again and said, no, the bill is now 3 million. Come on. These are things that we cannot tolerate and we will not tolerate. So, yes, the billing system still has a long way to go, but at the moment, especially after the upgrade, it will be able to serve us with what we need at the moment. So, you have seen, I've laid out the roadmap from the deployment of the ERP to target setting, smart metering, strategic communication, and more importantly is training. Training of you guys, because training is very important. I would rather have a training budget of more than maybe 25-30% of my budget goes to training, because at the end of the day, I know I will have staff that are well trained, that are motivated, that they know what they are doing, and it will dovetail to achieving what? Our objective, which is improving revenue, being customer-centric, and having improved efficiency in our operations. These are all part of training. So training is very important. For next year, we are going to see a lot of training. People will be called to, for training. And in conjunction with Tata Power, our technical partners, by December, we're identifying at least 15 people or 30 people that will go to India and stay there for at least 1 month with Tata Power and be trained, because I can tell you, in my experience, at least I will not say I'm the most widely traveled person, but at least I have traveled in this world. I've seen many things. But I know in terms of electricity and in terms of where we are at the moment, you cannot get a better partnership than from India. Because in India, they have the same culture, they have this surface, and everything that you see in Nigeria is replicated. In fact, anytime I go to New Delhi, I tell my Indian friends that, look, I don't miss home at all, because they have potholes, they have the meshais. No, I'm serious. There was a town I went to, Haryana, on our way to one area in Punjab region. And in that town, I saw a meshai with the milk like this, and he was doing Indomie. I'm serious. And as you step out of the town, you see people with selling apples, and you see these vulcanizers by the roadside, And if you travel into the hinterland of India, their villages are very similar to our villages, especially in the north. You see mud houses, you see poverty, just like we have. I'm telling you. So it is very similar. So if in terms of electricity supply, if you go to India, you see the same operations. So if Tata Power, that is operating Delhi Electricity Company, can reduce their losses from 60% to now less than 5%, 8.5%, I believe that we can do it. Can't we? I believe we can do it because all we need to do, we're coming to that with their advice, with the way we are doing things. I believe with just a small change of strategy, some of these strategies do not require huge money. It only requires change of psyche and how you do things. How you view things affect your outcome. So, like the customer segmentation that we have done, HRB, HCB, it has produced a lot of results. The PPMs, concentration, and so on and so forth. It's not magic. This is a business that other people are engaged with. And how do you ensure that people who do not pay are paying? In India, in their slums, I think the information I got was the slums, when they took over, the collection losses in the slum was almost like 100% or 99%. But today, in the slums, just like you go to any of our slums, their collection losses is about 0 or 99%. That's their collection efficiency is that means their losses is just 1%. And you know what they do? They get, and it's something that, we're also thinking about. In an area, they will get somebody who is local. They will give that person the responsibility to collect. And he will have his chair, and he will be going from one house to the other. So if you come back from work, he will be there waiting for you. He said, "Where is my money?" And he said, "No, I have maybe 10 naira. He said, "Okay, and your bill is 100 naira. You have 10 naira? Okay, give me 10 naira. He will write. Tomorrow he will come back. And that is, before the month end, they will have collected the whole money. So please take a lesson from this. It's something that you as sales reps can replicate because you are working over a territory. So you need to know your territory, you need to know your customers. So, and once we do that, I'm looking at a company in the next 5 years that will be profitable for my shareholders, and also a company that will be sustainable for the near future, so that all of us will have an assured job for us, for our families, and for everybody, for the dependents that we have. So this company, once with their effort, will be a sustainable company, a company that will all be proud of in the next 5 years. I believe it's doable. And this can only be achieved, if we have a very good incentive system, which we are trying to develop at the moment. Tomorrow, as I said, we are going to have an award night. And the purpose of the award night is to recognize you guys, those of you that have given the best in terms of commitment, in terms of effort, and in terms of bringing new ideas to the company. We want to recognize you. As I said, Kedco, we're very, very lucky. I have you guys, and I'm very proud of you, honestly. I know the staff that are operating in other utility companies. They are not like what we have in Kedco. So you guys are doing tremendously well. Please continue to fly the flag of Kedco. Do things differently. When they say somebody is from Kedco, people will start and, I want a situation whereby they say, "Are you a Kedco staff?" People will look at you differently because they don't see somebody who is doing chua-chua, who doesn't connive. They want to see somebody who is very straightforward, who knows his job, and that is the only way you can get respect of the community. Once you start to do chua-chua, the same community, if the company sacks you, the person you are doing chua-chua to, he will get another person to be doing the same. And you are a what? You are a foregone issue. You are just a number to him. So think of yourself first. Think of your family. Think of what you are going to lose. And it's not just losing the job, but the stigma that you are going to leave for your family. Please think about it very deeply before you do anything. And I'm sure on this, we're on the same level with the unions. I pledge that I'm not going to sack anybody. I'm not going to sack anybody. I'm only going to sack you. You only going to sack, you are going to sack yourself. And how do you sack yourself? If you misbehave, if you collude, if you cheat, I will find you wanting. Or if you are productive, if you are productivity, we have found a way, as we have seen in Tata. We are now creating a unit or a department, and we are calling it CCG. What do they call customer? What? Customer counseling group. You know what that means? I don't want anybody, it's, it's like the slaughterhouse. I'm not going to sack you, but honestly, once you are sent to that place, it's like you are just there. You are not doing anything, but you know what you are going to make you you'll be distributing bills and making sure that people pay. That will be their job. Whether you are in RM, if you are a regional manager and you are not performing, I'm not going to sack you. I'll bring you back to that department. So that department is like a holding point. It's a holding point for all those, anybody you see in that department, it means he's not productive. He's not productive. So we're creating that, and please do not be among those that will be posted there. Does anybody wants to go there? No, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. Oh, okay. Okay, so don't go there. So, as I said, tomorrow we are going to, by the grace of God, recognize the efforts that we have put in this company, and ensure that, we recognize you appropriately, so that by next year, starting from next month, we will see positive effort from you guys. Now, I believe that all of us can achieve this. Nobody is an island. Nobody is an island. My own, as somebody said, I'm just the pilot of this company. And I depend on you. Each and every one of you is very important to how we pilot our ship. So you are very important. So help me to pilot your ship in a nice way. Let us not enter into a turbulence. All of us know the effect of turbulence. When we enter into turbulence, some people will begin to do salati. Some people will begin to do whatever. But please, I want us to have a stable journey. So let us put our best, give our best, be committed, and I can assure you that you will be appropriately recognized and rewarded by me, inshallah. So, on this note, I hope that everybody has a pleasant interaction and a pleasant, conference. And I hope that the takeaways that we all have from here, we live here as a determined individuals, as a determined Kedco staff, to ensure that if I walk out of this door, I walk out with a commitment that whatever I'm doing in the past, if it is good, I'm going to double it. If it is bad, I promise that I will stop it and make this company great. When you make this company great, you are not making Jamil Gomna great. You are making yourself great. That's one thing I want to know. I want you to know. It's not personal. It's not me. That is one thing you want to know. So making this company great is making yourself great. On this note, I want to thank each and every one of you. And by the grace of God, I hope by next year's conference, we'll all come here and sing about 3 billion or even 4 billion. Up Kedco. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Please be seated, all. Sir? Be seated, please. Be seated, please. We are rounding up. Wow, that was a powerful presentation. You will agree with me. And then we have come to the end of this episode of edition of the marketing conference. Very quick announcement. For those of you who came from the regional offices outside Kano, and then you have been lodged in some hotels, some of you again have been selected to attend tomorrow's MD's award dinner. If you are one of the selected persons to attend that dinner, you need to retain your hotel accommodation. Don't go. However, if you are one of those people who have actually completed your assignment tonight, you go and sleep over, and then tomorrow you take your leave. Number two, for those who will be attending the award dinner, we have a dress code that must be adhered to. The guys should go on suit, and a black tie, either bow tie or the long tie. Look smart, very busy. Don't wear coat. I say suit. Please. Thank you. For the ladies, you are expected to be on a black gown. Run down. Look very smart, beautiful. So that tomorrow, some of our guests who will be coming from outside will now know that this is really Kedco. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the MD, CEO of Kedco, Dr. Jamil Governor, for organizing, for spending a lot of money to ensure that this thing is a success. I want to also thank the entire management team and staff of Kedco, some of our guests and the organizers of this event, particularly the Varden Z Group. I want to thank you so much. We are enjoying a lot of innovations that we have brought on board, and we hope to learn so many things from you so that we can take it from here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for coming. Thank you very much. We see you next year, marketing conference. Thank you very much. Please, you have to wait for the MD to take his leave, please. Okay, please, you can leave. The MD will be around, so you can leave now. Thank you very much.